Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims Info and Thoughts video. So this is the second part of my livestream breakdown for Discovery University. So I will leave a link to part 1 in the video description below, or a card, or both, in case you haven't seen that already. But without further ado, let's get into the rest of this livestream. So to kick things off, we have a better look at the district that is located in Brightchester, between Brightchester University and Foxbury Institute. Out of the 3 districts in Brightchester, I think this one is my favorite. From what I can tell, this town area looks large and wide open, while the 2 universities for the most part are small and cramped. I did notice a lot of set dressing in this area, but I still think it is going to be pretty fun riding a bike around here. They did confirm that Sims can swim in the river here, and they also showed a swimmable river by Foxbury Institute. I'm surprised they mentioned this so briefly and didn't show any sim swimming in those areas, because I think this is a huge deal to many people, as this is the first world besides Sulani with open water swimming. I know I'm personally really excited about this, and it gives me hope that we're much closer to getting it in more worlds in the near future, including ones we already have, like Brindleton Bay and Windenburg. Though on the other hand, as they were scrolling around the world, I could not help but notice this pre-made build right over here. I'm pretty sure this is a playable lot. Yep, I can already imagine little Simsy making an everything wrong with the Sims 4 Discovery University video, especially because of that lot. After scrolling around the town a bit more, they go over to this area that's by this old castle ruins, and they wait for something to happen, and, well, some secret society members end up showing up. They appear to praise a plate of pancakes and a crystal before their sim ends up asking what's up, and, well, they're definitely covering up what they're doing, though maybe not as subtly as they are thinking they are. One of the members ends up saying, why yes, we were just having our midnight gardening club meet. Yes, and they all run off and just blip into the void. Yeah, well, we didn't get any farther than that, but I personally don't mind, because it is the secret society, does feel like something we should probably discover for ourselves. Though I'm sure some of the game changers will still spoil what the details are about the secret society tomorrow when their embargo lifts. During this segment, they also talked a little bit about professors and relationships that you can build with them, and it was a little unclear how they explained this, because they said that you can build a relationship with your professor, and there's some interaction where you can convince them to boost your grade, but you can't continue your relationship with them until after you graduate, which I assume means you can't have a romantic relationship with professors until after graduation, which I find a really weird design decision if that is true. Just wow, they're really professional professors in that case. And here's an example of a class schedule. So you can see their sim is in Foxbury Institute, their degree is computer science. They don't have any credits yet since they just started, and there's 3 term days left and no GPA, and it also shows when all the classes are, of course. I think I saw a few people commenting that they rather would have had this accessible through the phone. I don't know, I think I'm okay with it being in the career panel, but I suppose another option for it on the phones and computers would be nice. SimGuru Azure does mention that not every final task for every class is necessarily the same, because you can see with programming principles, you gotta take a final exam, but then with introduction to computational ideas, you have to submit a term paper, and she also mentioned there are certain classes where you will be given a presentation board in your inventory and will have to do a presentation. I think actually giving the presentation, the final one, is in the rabbit hole, and then I think you just practice outside of a rabbit hole anywhere you want, like what you saw in the trailer. SimGuru Steph also made sure to mention that it's not enough to just go to class. If you don't do your final task, you will get your performance dinged quite a bit. They also confirmed that each term is 5 days long. I've seen a lot of complaints about this, but it was actually the same length in The Sims 3, not counting weekends as well. Though you could enroll for 2 terms at once. I think that's the only difference. But and then in The Sims 4, I think you'll just be able to re-enroll straight away after finishing your first term. And then in The Sims 2, each semester was only 3 days. So I don't think, as a person who switches between a lot of different households in one save, would not really want each term or semester to be that much longer than 5 days anyways, because I do switch pretty often, so I don't play as any one household, I think, for even more than a week at a time. The ideal option, of course, would be a slider to set a semester for as long or as short as you want it to be, but sadly, they just don't seem to do that very often with The Sims 4. On the upside though, SimGuru staff did also say that it is possible for one sim to get multiple degrees. Once you're finished one degree, you can go back to school and get another one. One interesting little fact that SimGuru Azure confirmed about Juice Pong is that if you're having a party and you have Sims over who are from both Brightchester and Foxbury, say if your Sim is in Brightchester and beats a Foxbury Sim, they will get a special buff for beating that Sim. And here you can just see a few different angles of Foxbury Institute during nighttime. One minor thing that I did spot is that with double beds you can actually assign specific sides of the bed to somebody, which is nice. I think you might have already been able to do this before, but it didn't specifically label the side, it just said you can claim the bed. And now we get to see the return of Shower Woohoo, something long awaited. I can't say I like it as much as it was in The Sims 3 though. I much prefer how it was a little bit more subtle where it's like, oh, one sim is already in the shower, and then it's like, oh, okay, another sim goes in, and then they start woohooing. And while it's censored, of course, you can still kind of see that the sims are in there, but here, the Sims just blip into the void, just completely gone. And then Doctor Strange comes out and says, oh, it's 5 years. Whoa, what did I just see? And lets them back out. So, yeah, that's not really as good in my opinion. I'm glad that we're getting it back at all, but I don't know. And I'm not sure if it fulfills the same needs. Like, does it fulfill hygiene and fun for both of the Sims like it did in The Sims 3? Because that's why the shower woohoo was something I liked so much, other than the fact that, okay, yeah, woohoo in the shower makes sense. I also find it weird that they come in and out of the void with their clothes on. I'm sure there will be mods to fix that, but still, it's really silly that it's not like that in the first place. And yes, they do recycle the beginning of the closet woohoo animation, but I don't think I would have minded that so much as long as the Sims take their clothes off first and then drag each other in. They also mentioned that not every single shower in the game has shower woohoo available, but it's just the ones that are not private enough to have that animation available, such as the shower from Island Living, as well as the new open shower that is coming in Discover University. Next, we move on to a new feature that is going to be available to everybody, and that is multi-story columns. Unfortunately, there are a few columns that are not completely compatible with this feature, but can still be stretched a little bit, just not as tall as the other ones. The ones that are restricted are the ones that have a little blue icon in the bottom right corner, and at the bottom of their description, it will say max height restricted. So with just the base game and Discover University, only 3 of these columns fall under this rule. I'm not sure if there will be more if you happen to have all packs installed. But they did show one of the columns that you can stretch normally, and yeah, wow, that is that is really tall. This reminds me of something that would be in Paralive, so I'm really glad to see that The Sims is doing this. One other thing that's worth mentioning is that if you use the eyedropper tool on a heightened column, then it will actually replicate the exact height that you set it to as well. I'm not much of a builder in The Sims, but I am looking forward to seeing what the professional builders will do with this feature. Then they showed off the Create a Sim items. I'll do more in-depth impressions once I get access to this pack and have access to Create a Sim myself, but from what I've seen, this does look pretty good. I'm glad that there are some new tattoos, and the piercings, I don't know. I guess they do look a bit awkward in certain ones, but I don't know. I'll still have to see once I actually play the game myself. There is a new academic aspiration with this pack, But sadly, no new traits, even though Discover University is like a pun on Discover You. They instead focused on the lot traits that I talked about in the previous video. I would have loved to see an eccentric trait that would make your Sims really good at the robotics skill. I guess we'll just have to wait for a modder to make it instead. And then we move on to the new social event that is added with Discover University, and that is a keg party. I would have been pretty shocked if that was not included. But what I am a little surprised about is that there's no graduation party type as such. There is a ceremony that takes place inside the arena rabbit hole. Ugh, another rabbit hole. I really hate that. What the heck? What is with all the rabbit holes in The Sims 4 lately? It reminds me of how during the Sims 3 era we were all scared with each pack, like, oh no, is this thing going to be a rabbit hole or can we actually see this? And now it feels like we're going back to those times. They said you can still throw a party afterwards, that you can kind of call a graduation party, but it still probably won't be the same as we imagined it. It felt a little misleading too that we had what looked like the graduation party that's visible towards the end of the announced trailer, but nope, that was staged. But a couple of things about the kegs and the keg parties that there are different flavors for the juice keg, and there's a gold juice keg that you can win if you manage to earn a gold medal. One little tidbit about university housing that SimGuru Rad mentioned is that even though you are not allowed to have outdoor cooking or stoves there, you can still put down a cafeteria object. So, for example, you could have a cafeteria on one story while you have the dorm rooms on another. In a minute, we'll go over all three of the new careers and what the branches are for each, but one of their Sims ended up getting this note. I'm not sure why it was just left on the floor and not on a desk or on a bulletin board. But this one says, scientists say that washing yourself not only keeps you healthier, but also can mean other people like you more. Just thought I'd share that fun science fact. So yeah, definitely turning up that passive aggressiveness. I don't know if there's any nice ones, I'm guessing there would be. But yeah, I'm not sure how exactly that happens other than in the case of this one, it would obviously be that you don't have your Sim shower for a good while. But yeah, this one wasn't really explained. So let's talk about the new careers. So none of the careers in the game now, or the new ones that we're getting through Discover University, are locked off for non-university students. Any adult and above Sim can go into them. And yeah, I don't know if I'm really a fan of this, because I would have liked at least the education, law, and doctor careers to be completely blocked off unless you have the appropriate degree. One thing that I hoped for that thankfully did come true is that the three new careers are all having the choice of work from home or rabbit hole like the base game careers. The first one they showed is education. Shape tomorrow's minds with a career in education. Though at times challenging, there are few jobs quite as rewarding. And the career branches are administrator and professor. So it looks like in a way my wish came true, because long before this expansion pack was even announced, I was hoping they would do this sort of angle where you're not just able to play as the student, but also as the professor. Though when I had that in mind, I was thinking an active career like get to work, but at least this is somewhat close to that if I choose to work from home. Though I wonder what we would get with work from home, because I don't think it necessarily makes sense to have a professor work from home every single day, unless maybe you could pretend they're doing online classes, maybe? But since we did not see a list of tasks that we can get for work from home with this career, maybe it is possible that there are some tasks that we are given where it's just a lot easier to go to Brightchester, kind of like with the city living careers. But the next career to go over is engineer. There are many problems in the world that require modern and creative solutions. Take your love of technology and pursue a career in engineering to solve the world's problems with computers and mechanical gadgetry. And the branches are computer engineer and mechanical engineer. I definitely want to go for the mechanical one just so I can have that Tony Stark, Iron Man sort of character. And last but certainly not least is law. In my opinion, this is a staple career in the Sims franchise. So Sims who pursue a career in law are in a unique position to help others with their legal problems, champion causes, and further the public good, or not. That fancy paycheck doesn't hurt either, and the branches are judge and private attorney. In addition, while at university, you can also choose the esports competitor and soccer team player from this menu, though you can also just click on the sports arena rabbit hole to join them as well. So overall, I'm pretty excited to have all three of these careers in my game, especially since there is the work from home option. And I'm trying to think if there are any careers exactly that I still want. Sure, there's things that I would like to see, such as farming or being a superhero, but those are more lifestyles than careers. There's also things like daycare centers and hotels that I would like my Sims to run, but those fall under a business category, not a typical sort of career. So I think after Discover University, I'm going to be pretty happy with the careers that we have in the game. Especially this year, they've added a whole lot in the career area with the freelancer update that came out in the spring, and then we got the odd jobs with Island Living, as well as making the part-time careers available for adults and not just teenagers. And of course, just all the other careers that we got with the packs, like conservationist and the ones that we got in Discover University, and the military career in Strangerville that I waited quite a long time for. And, of course, I almost forgot the freelance photographer career that came with Moschino stuff. Wait, hold on, there are two careers that I just thought of that I'd like to see. Car mechanic, whenever we get cars back, and some sort of house flipper sort of career. Kind of like what we had in The Sims 3 Ambitions. I think it was called interior designer, where you'd be given a list of tasks for things that you need to place in the house, and then you can just add more stuff if you want to. And yeah, I did find that pretty fun in The Sims 3, so yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that in The Sims 4. But now we are coming up on the end of the live stream, so SimGuru Steph throws her hat into the air. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And we get a peek at the hip-hop station, because you may remember it initially came with Get Famous, but now with Discover University, there will be more songs added there as well. And hey, there's Big Mo from Bo Young Prince. You may remember there was a leak about that a few months ago, and I was thinking, what song would that fit into for a pack type? And I thought maybe University, and yeah, I was right on the money with that one. But there is one little thing that I almost missed. So now you can see in game options, there's this accessibility section. They did not go into there. But in the video that I uploaded earlier today, SimGuru Frost did tease that we are getting some sort of accessibility feature. So it probably is going to be something that will make The Sims 4 more user-friendly for people with disabilities. But yeah, we don't know what that could be. But seeing it have its own menu makes me think that there is potential expansion for this later down the line. And that's it. That's the end of this live stream. I do agree with a lot of what I've seen other people say, that this was not really the best presented live stream that they've done. And I am confused as to why they huddled in this room instead of using the bigger and cooler, more professional looking room, in my opinion, that they've used for Guru Garage and Maxis Monthly. I don't know, maybe something went wrong behind the scenes. But I did come out with a better impression of this expansion pack than before. There are still some big negatives to me, but there's definitely stuff that I plan on using. I'm still not sure if this is going to be one of my favorite expansion packs, though I think at the very least I will like it more than Island Living. And that wraps up another Sims Info and Thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on the live stream and all the stuff that we learned. And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!